Welcome to the analysis of set B for of all the 4 days which were conducted. That was on 26th, 27th, 28th and 29th. Okay. Because of this COVID-19 situation, the paper pattern was changed and the mode of exam conduction was also changed. Okay. So it was a proctored, but student has to take examination from their home. And barring few cases, I mean, most of the students said that the exam was conducted very smoothly. There were hardly any technical glitches, barring one or two, cases here and there. But then, that can be, exempted from, right? So let's look at the analysis. Okay. So if I look at the paper pattern, okay, this was the paper pattern for all the 4 days consistently. Okay. It was 75-minute paper, 75-minute questions. Then, the marking scheme was +1 and no negative marking for any wrong question. Which means students should have ideally attempted all the 75 questions because there is no negative marking, right? The paper was divided into 4 sections. Quantitative, which has 20 questions for 20 marks. Analytical and logical reasoning had 15 questions for 15 marks. General knowledge had 20 questions, 20 marks, and English, that's for 20 marks and 20 questions. So this was a standard paper pattern. I mean, it was reduced, the number of questions was reduced by half, right? Now let's see. This was the quant section, the breakup of the questions which were asked across the 4 days. So for example, if I look at this progression, now progression was asked on the 2nd day and the 4th day, but there was no question of progression on the 1st day and the 3rd day. Now data interpretation question was there on 1st, 2nd, 3rd day, but there was no DI question on the 4th day. There was data sufficiency question on 1st day, but there was no data sufficiency question on 2nd and 3rd day. And barring few changes from 3 to 4 changes, most of the paper pattern was same. Okay, in one of the paper there were 1 question of percentage. So in another paper there were 2 question of percentage, but that was compensated by profit and loss. So more or less the paper pattern of quantitative section was same, and students were not finding any difficult to attempt question. Yes, there were instances, there were 2 instances, one on day 3 and one on day 4, where student found question to be erroneous. Okay. And when the student discuss the question, I believe that if the students have interpreted the questions correctly, I believe that those questions were incorrect. Okay, I obviously am not going to discuss those questions right now, but yes, there were instances where the questions were incorrect. Now, if we look at the day-wise analysis, we found out that except day 4, on all other days this section was easy to go. Maybe around 25 minutes on this section and around 18-20 questions was fairly possible. Some of the questions on all the 4 days were straightforward application. Some of the students said that they were able to attempt those questions in less than a minute time. And the 25-minute 18 plus question was fairly, and there are students who said that attempted all 20 questions. Okay, except on day 4 where the section was because of 2-3 questions, okay, that was little lengthy. And on day 4 there were 2 questions which were little erroneous. The options were not matching. So student spend little more time on those 2 questions, and hence we are marking this section as easy to moderate and not an easy one. Otherwise it would have been an easy. Okay, let's move to the next section, that is analytical and logical reasoning section. So in analytical reasoning, the question revolved around puzzles, direction sense, coding, decoding, and calendar questions. Okay, there was one instance where the question it was based on some figure, so it was not visual reasoning, but it was some related to some figure were given. Student said it was pretty simple. So though it was a different type of question, but then student found it very simple. So, and if you look at logical reasoning, on syllogisms, analogy, and analogy and statement course of action. So around 10 to 12 questions were from analytical reasoning, okay, depending on day to day. And there were around 4 to 5 questions on logical reasoning section. This was more or less the paper pattern was same. All the question in this section was very easy across all the 4 days. Again, even I'm not talking about well-prepared student and above average student. The average student were also said that they were able to attempt all the 15 questions at a stretch, maybe around 20-22 minutes, and they were able to attempt all 15 questions. So should not have taken much time here. So this was a really scoring section. Now, if we look at the English section, so it was divided into, it had reading comprehension, which has 1 RC, 5 questions. Now, in this out of this 5 questions, on one of the day, the meaning was asked, the synonyms of an underlined word was asked. On other day, the antonym was asked. On on the first day, the RC questions were pretty direct; they were not indirect. On the 4th day, there were 2 questions in RC which were, not a direct question. Which of the following statement is not true? So that makes this section, this RC, little time consuming, maybe 1 or 2 more minutes, but that doesn't make this section difficult. Right? Then there was vocabulary question. So we had synonyms, antonyms, spelling checks. Okay, there was 1 or 2 odd questions on spelling check. The incorrect, need to identify which of the following word are correctly written. And then there were fill in the blank question. It was purely based on the word usage. Based on word usage, except 2-3 questions which were based on preposition. There were instances on day 1 and day 2. There were fill in the blank which was a preposition based. So yes. Then there were grammar questions which had idioms and phrasal verb, and there was some sentence correction questions. And on first day, there was a student who said parajumbled, but on the 3rd and 4th day, student didn't find parajumbled in the paper. So yes, parajumbled was one area which was not tested on all the 4 days. Now, if I look at the, again, we have termed second day as easy to moderate because of those 2 RC question, maybe taking little more time. Apart from that, the section was, easy overall. You can see all the days was easy or easy to moderate, not moderate or moderate to difficult. It was easy or easy to moderate, right? Now looking at general knowledge. Now this is going to be the game changer. Almost 60 to 65% of the question in this section was static. Okay. So, static GK, it covered vast variety, geography to history to important organization to art and culture, dance form. Okay. So it covered various variety of topic. And in current affairs, it covered awards and recognition, important appointments, international affairs and sports. Now, this is a standard SCT preparation. Standard SCT preparation where this was the standard SCT preparation. This is the standard SCT GK section where this is how these are the type of questions that have been asked. But this year, this section was a little tough as compared to the past years. Okay, this section was a little difficult. We have termed this section to be moderate or moderate to difficult in all the 4 days because there were many questions which were testing the students' memory. Okay, and because it was not current affair based, most of the question, and also the static GK questions were really tough. Student found it difficult. Students said that they could attempt around 10 to 12 questions. Some of them said 6-7 questions. There were few students who attempted around 13-14, but we haven't come across a student who attempted genuinely more than 13-14 questions in this section, which make this section difficult as compared to the other section. And this section is going to be the game changer because the other 3 sections were very straightforward and they were cakewalk. So if a student is spending, let's say, around 65-70 minutes in the first 3 sections, I'm sure he or she would be able to attempt majority of the questions. Okay. Getting 10 marks in 5 minutes in this section will change the entire game. Okay. So this is going to be the game changer this year in SAT paper. Now let's look at the WET. This was the first two topics that were asked on Monday. Is social media good or bad for society? Can an individual performer be a better team player? And I'm sure I don't have to say, majority of the students, selected the first topic. I mean, it's easy to write. It's easy to write, more content available. Okay, sure. In the second topic, you need to have understanding about, what are the qualities of good team player and good leadership quality and everything. The first topic you can keep on writing on and on and on. Okay, there may not be limitation on first topics, and hence because of which majority of the students selected the first one. On the second day, these are the two topics. Are advertisement informative? And the second, if you got a job where there is no fixed timing and you have to work every day, then how will you maintain your health? Now again, the first topic is better. Student found the first topic better to write more as compared to the second topic. However, I disagree. I personally disagree with it. But then, given a choice, probably I would have written second topic on both the days, because that would make me stand apart from the crowd. That's the only thing, right? I may write less, but then if I'm right to the point and if I'm very expressive, I think that would add to my advantage. On the third day, the topics were: how has lockdown affected people's lifestyle? And spending or saving, which is more important. Again, the first topic is, you can elaborate, you can keep on going, and it's a current topic. So you can also write some of your personal example without naming your, without naming that it's your personal example. So you can write on and on and on the first topic, right? The second topic, again, you can write down, but not as much as on the first topic, right? And on the fourth day, the topic were: is India ready for digital education? I'm sure most of you would say yes, because that is what you have been doing in last 3-4 months, right? And the second topic was: what are the effects of live streaming on YouTube? Now this topic was, it was very open. The second topic was very, very open. Had it would have been, what are the effects of live streaming of some, maybe educational videos or, some XYZ videos, so that it, make it little relevant. But here this topic was very open, and, because this topic was open, you could have taken other examples, various other examples, and you could have elaborated on the second topic. So this was the four, WET topic on 4 days, and all the topics were nicely chosen. There was hardly any overlap in any of the topics, so that, it can add it to, advantage to the student. Now, having said this, discuss this, WET is going to be considered only if a student get an interview call. That's very important thing. Let's say if you have written an extremely good WET, okay, you would have, let's say you scored maybe a bang on, okay, you scored 90% mark in WET or 100%. Your writing skills are amazing. But what if you don't clear the cutoff, the basic cutoff? There is zero weightage for this WET. So it is not, your written score and your WET will be clubbed together and then you will get a call. No, it is not like that. So WET is going to be used in the final selection procedure. Now, this is what we feel that, should be the genuine attempt. So I'm talking about genuine attempt. I'm sure most of you would have attempted all questions. I'm talking about genuine attempt. 25 minutes, 18 plus attempt in quant was fairly possible. There are 15 questions in analytical reasoning, and that was achievable in 20 minutes time, maybe 20 or 22, okay? Not more than that. General knowledge, you can see 10 minutes, 13 plus question. Genuine attempt was possible, if you were seriously preparing for SCT exam, this was fairly possible. 15 minutes and 18 plus question in English, maybe in one RC, other all questions were grammar, vocabulary based. So 15 minutes was more than sufficient time. Now, if you add them, 25 and so, okay. So if you look at the time over there, the time did not add to 75. There was 5 minutes extra you could have spent on an area which you are, which you are weak at. You need more time, right? Now, having discussed the good attempts and the genuine attempt, these are the cutoff that we are predicting. SCMS Pune, we are predicting the cutoff to be 55. SCMS Noida, we are predicting it to be 50 mark, and SCMS Nagpur, we are predicting it to be 47 marks. You can see these are the good score written here. Now, what is relevance of a good score? See, clearing the cutoff is not the only thing, because in the second stage, it is not only WAT and interview which is going to matter. It is also your written test score which is going to count. So it is combination of all three. So, I mean, better the marks that you score in the written test, obviously that is going to add a value in your final selection. Okay. Let's say, if it is, let's say they consider 50% marks from the written test. Scoring 60 and scoring 55, the person who's scoring 60 will have an added advantage of 2.5 marks more in the beginning when that person sits for an interview. And hence scoring maybe, this marks would help a student converting this symbiosis call. And this is what we have seen historically. Okay, a student who has scored good marks, it's easy for them to convert as compared to the one who have just cleared the cutoff and they are on the boundary line. So that's it from our end. Thank you very much.